Thank you for being here tonight. We have some fun celebrations. I think we're going to be doing some math. How exciting is that? In the meantime, if you could please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic, nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and Okay, we need to approve the agenda for the evening. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? And we have the approval of the minutes from the February board meeting. Do I have a motion? Been motioned and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dr. Sprout, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Berrigan and governing board members. Thank you, community, for being here tonight. This is this is the biggest meeting we have every year. And just so you kind of know the order of things, and in case you're wondering, we have some celebrations. We have a classroom spotlight from Charles Side Point. We have our classified award recipients, our Exceptional Service Award. But we will take a break before the business part of the meeting. So once we're done with all of the celebrations and everything, we'll take a break. And if you don't want to be here for the business, I don't think we'll be okay with that. So, but just wanted to let you know that that's the flow of the evening. So here we go. Ready, Butch? He's back there. Okay, we're ready to go. EFGA Australia Foothills Global Academy students in grades 6 through 8 are part of the International Baccalaureate Middle Years program and strive to approach learning with an international mindset, specifically by participating in critical thinking and inquiry-based learning activities. 3 of our IB students have gone above and beyond demonstrating IB learner attributes. Let's start with Kaylee Mock. She's in 8th grade and she has been accepted into the IB program at North High School next year. She demonstrates attributes of not only being knowledgeable, but also principled in all she does in and out of the classroom. Is Kaylee here? Come on up, Kaylee. Next, we have 2 students, Amari McCollum and Robert Wells. They are in 7th grade, and they have demonstrated being inquirers and communicators in their IB summative writing assignment in English language arts. Okay, so catch this. Students were asked to research and evaluate the impact of the Victorian era and the Industrial Revolution to make connections and explain the author's purpose in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I went and watched this right around Christmas time, and it was incredible to see. So these 2 students, just so you know, by the junior year of high school, they're expected to write a 2,000-word essay, a 3,000-word essay by the time they're seniors. These 2 students doubled that, the 2,000, by writing over 4,000 words. And so if we would please have, Amari and Robert, please come forward. Let's give them a round of applause. I'm sure every high school principal and every college president would love to have these students at their school, but that doesn't happen without a great teacher. And so I would like to recognize Natalie Urich, who was a driving force behind our students' success. Natalie, thank you for your effort and leadership in helping our students develop these attributes. And if you would please come forward as well, Natalie. Well, Ms. Zabriskie. I don't think we see her here, but she is an incredible teacher. Obviously, your support as parents as well. So if you want to get a picture. Students from Vista del Sur and Rogers Ranch participated in the MESA, that stands for Mathematics, Engineering, Science Achievement Regional Design Day at Grand Canyon University last Saturday. February 11th. Students either participated in challenges or received feedback on their designs. Vista's on-site engineering team placed second out of approximately 25 teams during this regional competition. The attack vehicle group from Rogers Ranch School was one of the few groups with a moving robot. Both schools' groups were able to also compete against other teams and consistently ranked in the top 5 during those practices. So these groups will now go and use this practice and feedback from their event to help them prepare for the statewide MESA Day, which will be held at Grand Canyon University on May 6th. And we wish them all the best. Students in the gifted program at MC Cash, Paseo Point, Vista del Sur, and Estrella Foothills have formed Math Olympiad teams. Each of these teams have completed 3 of the 5 challenges and are working on the 4th and 5th throughout the month of February and finishing now here in early March. The students on these teams work together when practicing, but must complete the official challenges on their own. There are 5 math questions and escalating levels of difficulty for each of these challenges, and these challenges not only promote students' math skills, but build perseverance when the tasks become more difficult. 3 Levine students are the recipients of the Arizona Council for Exceptional Children's I Can Do It Award. This year's winners are Mabil, who is in 4th grade at Levine Elementary School, nominated by Ms. Turner. And Bill, are you here? Come on up, please. We will recognize you. Is Isaac here? Okay, Isaac Helleback. Isaac is in 4th grade at Trailside Point, and he was nominated by Ms. Walker, his teacher. So congratulations, Isaac. And Salma Salceda, 8th grade student at Levine Elementary, nominated by Ms. Venny in Ms. Kranz's class. And is Salma here? Come on up, Salma. Once again, parents, if you'd like to come up and get a picture, that is absolutely fine. Congratulations, students and your families. And thank you to our staff that nominated these students. Love was in the air last month, and we asked our families to share the love with us. We asked families to tell us what they loved about their child's school, and they did not disappoint. Each day, we received love notes that we shared on our social media pages, and after Valentine's Day, the notes were printed and sent to our schools, and they are displayed in the office. So we thank our community for extending the love to the Levine School District. The number one question we receive from new teachers who enter the profession is, or when we're interviewing them, what kind of support does your district offer to new teachers? Years ago, our district established the Mentoring and Induction for New Teachers, also known as the MINT program, for all our new to Levine teachers. During recent stay interviews, when we asked new teachers how beneficial the MINT program has been to them, the responses were overwhelmingly positive. Here's a picture of a MINT meeting at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, where new teachers are working with an instructional coach to analyze various elements of the formal observation instrument. So we're actually helping them get ready for their first formal observation that they have as new teachers, and how to connect that to their current practices in their room. So this is an important step that we take towards our new teachers, and they do ask this question. And in fact, on a little side note, Mr. Thomas is not here today because he was in North Dakota yesterday recruiting teachers for the Levine School District. Met with Audrey, Michelle Anderson's daughter, and it was 11 degrees in North Dakota. And so we probably, we tell them it's 80 degrees in Arizona. So we'll see how that went. But this week, Rita Across America began on March 2nd, and our students have a number of activities planned to encourage, and our schools have a number of activities planned to encourage students to read. From nightly virtual staff read-alouds to inviting special guests in to read, there are fun events for every level of reader. And I don't know who that is, but slightly familiar, like that might be our principal and assistant principal at EFGA, so, or thing 1 and thing 2. It is official, 38th Avenue between Weir and Rozier is now Sandomir Way. The street name was changed to honor our late principal, Lisa Sandomir, who served the Maurice C. Cash Elementary School for over 15 years. The school will now have a Sandomir Way address. I believe it is 5000 South Sandomir Way, and what a great way to pay tribute to the impact of Lisa Sandomir. Let's do our classroom spotlight. These guys have been here since I think 4 o'clock today, so they are ready to go. And so with that, we're going to have a very special presentation tonight from Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy, and we'll turn it over to our principal, Ashley Grant.
All right. Well, good evening, President Berrigan, members of the board, and Dr. Sprout. It is such a wonderful privilege to stand before you all and share all of the great things that are happening at Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy. At Trailside Point, we are dedicated to shifting the academic needle through strong instructional practices. And in tonight's presentation, you'll see this in action through a focus on small group instruction and intentional scaffolds. Ms. Walker, one of our amazing teachers at Trailside Point, as well as her students, will demonstrate for each of you what small group instruction looks like inside the classroom and explain how she holds all students to high expectations to ensure that they are able to develop the skills they need to access our district-adopted curriculum and work within their zones of proximal development. As great educators, we scaffold the learning in a variety of ways with a variety of our students. And tonight, you'll have an opportunity to see just 2 of those scaffolds utilized to assist students in reaching mastery of academic standards. So at this time, I want to introduce Ms. Walker.
Okie dokie. Good evening, President Barragan, members of the board, and Dr. Sprout. It is my true honor and privilege to be here tonight to showcase my awesome students. I currently teach second, third, and fourth graders in my classroom. My classroom uses a centers-based model where students work on differentiated tasks, both in small groups and independently. Each center lasts approximately 15 minutes, where students are tasked to think critically, explain their learning to their table friends, and revise their work in order to try to self-correct and reflect. Throughout my small group instruction, I use the curriculum to ensure my students are exposed to the educational skills and knowledge they need to succeed. Using the curriculum, I can easily differentiate which tasks and activities my students are assigned to establish a well-scaffolded lesson which is in the student's zone of proximal development. In my classroom, we believe that all students can do hard things and deserve to be held to a high standard. My team and I work hard to ensure that each student has what they need to be successful. We believe that all students are capable of things bigger than what they may believe, and teach them that sometimes it's okay to be uncomfortable, that this means our brains are growing. Having high expectations in my classroom and teaching my students the importance of taking accountability for their own learning has really motivated them to want to do more and push themselves. My students have really shown up for the challenge this school year and are displaying an intrinsic desire to learn and grow and becoming more confident in themselves. Now we are going to be watching some real-life footage taken from my classroom displaying small group instruction featuring differentiated subtraction. I will be pausing throughout to further detail and explain what we are looking at from a teacher's perspective. The arrow.
Pop 8. Yeah, so pop 8. Pop 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the answer is 2. Is it going forwards or backwards? Answer 2. And what's our big answer? 1, 2. Good job. Let's work on the next one. Put our line down the middle.
So this video demonstrates my students using a hundreds chart in proper form, as well as a positive classroom environment. You saw students celebrating the small wins and being encouraging of one another.
Yeah, pop 3. Okay. And then how many are we taking away? 2. Take away 2. 1, 2. Answer 6. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Let's try again. And 1.
Got to pop 3.
So we pop 3. Now take away 2. 1, 2. Answer 1. Okay, so 1 goes there. Okay.
And then in this video, we see a student make a mistake on one of the problems, but he successfully addresses the misconception with appropriate support and he self-corrects, which is exactly what we want.
Bailey, can you read the first problem to me, please?
-3.
Does minus mean number getting bigger or number getting smaller?
Smaller.
Smaller. So how many fingers are we going to start with, Bailey? How many? Tell me.
6.
6. So FB start with 6 fingers. Pull up 6 fingers.
1,
Come on, Bailey, you do.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Good job, SB.
6.
6. Nice. Now, SB, how many am I taking away? So how many fingers am I going to put down? What's that? Yeah, Bailey put down 3 fingers for me.
And this is a great video showing total physical response. You see the students using conceptual understanding with their own fingers and then transferring this skill onto the felt finger manipulative. In a few seconds, we will get to meet my incredible students. But first, I wanted to briefly show you some of the tools and manipulatives found and used daily in my classroom. We have my felt fingers, which are a great hands-on manipulative where students can move the fingers up and down. We have a hundreds chart. I personally have a hundreds popper with my students that they love to utilize, and cubes so students can practice counting on. And in the bottom corner, you see a little snippet from the curriculum, which some students will be working on during their demonstration. Right, Brian, are you ready?
My name's Elijah.
Yeah.
Good job. And then what do we do? Two. Good job.
Ready? So,
7. Oh no. Why?
Nice. Yes.
We turned 3 into a 2 because we
Nice
borrowed
work.
2 minus 1.
Okay.
Getting smaller. 0. Find the 2. There you go. Nice 2. Can we take the differences? Perfect. 1, take away 1. Got 1. 0. Good job. You do one last one? Yeah. Good job. 8 minus 8. Oh, 8 minus 8. 0. Good job. If I have 8 pieces of candy and I eat it all, and then I'll have.
romancing.
You have a tummy ache. Yeah. Yeah. And now 0. 4 minus 2.
That's correct. SB,
You got it. Oh,
you know
if I
how
have
to do
4,
this.
I eat
Very good.
I eat 2, and the answer is 2.
There
And then you
you
give
go.
a score 2, right?
Nice. There you go.
Almost right.
So what do we need to do?
Oh,
Can I ask you to do
So that becomes
Is that okay?
good
Can you
job.
do that one? This is a trick one. I'm gonna see how you do. You wanna try that one? Or do you wanna go in order? Yeah. Yeah? Let's see.
What's the number? 4. 2, 3, 6, 7. Everything was 7. 7. So the answer is. Good job. All right. Can you say thank you? Can you say thank you? Oh, thank you. I think you can both.
Oh, good
Good
job.
job. Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
Second. Okay, great. And so we're going to move on to some NWEA data. What you're about to see is some snapshots taken from NWEA data, which we just did in January, from 4 students in my classroom. It's a true reflection of what high expectations in the classroom can accomplish. They're all on track to transition to partially proficient by the mid-NWEA test, and it's also preparing the students for AASA testing, which is also super important. So student 1, this was an example of reading. He started at spring 2022 with a score of 130. By the time we tested him 2 months ago and now in January for winter 23, he grew to 161, which is a 31-point growth. Student 2 was also in reading. He started in spring 22 with 137 score, and he grew all the way up to 160 by winter 23. That's a growth of 23 points. And here we have a student 3 for math. He started at a score of 140 in spring 2022, and we grew all the way up to 168, which is an awesome growth of 28 points. My 4th student is one of my older students. He took the language test, which only students 3rd through 8th do. He started with a score of 142 in the fall of 2022 and grew all the way up to 176, which is a growth of 34 points. I again just wanted to thank everyone for selecting my classroom to represent Trailside Point this year, and all my wonderful parents and support team who make my life so much easier on a daily basis. You are all a big blessing in my life. My students are my true passion, and seeing their growth, excitement for learning, and smiling faces when they have that aha moment really inspires me every day to be the best teacher I can be. I call my class a family because that's how we operate. We love, laugh, and learn together. We have highs and lows, good days and bad days, and everything in between. But at the end of all that, we remain united and support and champion each other for all the small things, which usually end up being the most meaningful and memorable. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.
Ms. Walker, we're going to ask that you bring your team up here, and we're going to get a picture with them. And again, families, if you would like to come up as well and get a picture. Do that.
I'm going to take a good picture, okay?
So thank you again. Let's give our students a round of applause. Ms. Walker, this is a classroom spotlight I don't think we will ever forget. It was absolutely wonderful. We got to see the tools that you use here and your dedication. I was in this room a few months ago and I walked out and just said, wow, this is absolutely incredible. Ms. Walker's leadership, but I also want to recognize Ms. Tori and Ms. Angel, part of her team that do an absolutely outstanding job. So thank you to both. And parents, thank you for entrusting your children to us. And it is an honor to work with them. And so they did the whole classroom, represented them very well. And we thank you for your support and being a part of this family. And so thank you very much. Next, we have our Employees of the Month. And we are going to start with our Certified Employee of the Month, Ms. Brittany Downs. So Ms. Downs is an instructional coach at Cheatham Elementary School. She's also a parent of students who attend Vista del Sur, and her husband is a teacher at Vista del Sur. And so it is a total family affair for the Downs. But let's get back to Mrs. Downs. In her role as an instructional coach, Brittany supports teachers in their crucial work, drawing from her expertise as an outstanding teacher in our district. She is equally comfortable in providing coaching to a brand new, all the way to a veteran teacher in instructional strategies, classroom management, and professional practices. Her devotion to staff is matched by her care and advocacy for students, and she is known as a person who can support a student of any age and under any circumstances. And she is one of the most positive thinking people you will ever meet, and is constantly celebrating the accomplishments of staff and students. So thank you, Brittany, for so cheerfully serving and leading the staff and students of Levine and Cheatham Elementary School in particular. Let's give her a round of applause.
So I think I was thinking like, well, we could talk about the time you came to the job fair, and Mr. Stewart trained you and like walked you straight over to our table. We could talk about our Facebook page and how she is relentless at Cheatham and walk around and like. But like in that letter that it talks about the impact that she has on our staff and how much she's grown us. But I just want her to know that she wrote me.
Our classified employee of the month is not able to be here tonight, so we will recognize her at our next meeting. I am pleased to announce the recipients of the 22-23 Exceptional Service Awards, the Levine District's highest recognition for our classified staff. These individuals were nominated and selected for bringing their best to work every single day. All of the recipients display the following attributes: strong attendance and dependability, high quality and quantity of work. They excel at working harmoniously with others. They are expert in their job responsibilities. They regularly show initiative and creatively solve problems, and they provide excellent customer service. Their commitment to students, staff, and community is greatly appreciated. I will have to just say, we have a staff with all kinds of different positions, but everybody that works in this district is an educator. And we cannot get by and do the crucial work without our incredible classified staff. And it is our honor to recognize this year's Exceptional Service Award recipients. So here we go. First of all, from our transportation department, bus driver Matthew Araki. Next, from our groundskeeping team and support services department, Juan Cabral. I don't recognize him without his uniform on there. That's pretty good. Next, from Levine Elementary School, school guest teacher, Michael Hall. From Desert Meadow School, behavior monitor, Sheila Hall. Another school guest teacher from Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, Temi Hidari. Instructional associate from Rogers Ranch School, Virgilio Ignalig. From Paseo Point, health associate Sherry Reed. Next, also at Paseo Point, we have child nutrition cafeteria manager, Andrea Sanchez. Next, from our business office, bookkeeper, Cynthia Sanchez. Our next Exceptional Service Award recipient from Estrella Foothills Global Academy, Library Associate, Jennifer Schneider. From Cheatham Elementary, Custodian Maria Sita. From MC Cash School, Behavior Monitor, Cynthia Soltero. Someone I had the pleasure of working with for many, many years. From our Human Resources Department, Classified Technician, Elizabeth Sotelo Jimenez. And just so you know, Liz is the one that does all the hiring of all of our classified staff. It's appropriate she's getting this award tonight. From our Support Services Department, Maintenance Technician Corey Tate. And finally, from Trailside Point School, Student Success Associate Ashley Thirdgill. You all clean up pretty well. You look very nice tonight. So we'll get a picture. If you would like, if your family member you'd like to come up, please feel free to do So as we wrap up the superintendent's report, families of all the people that were recognized tonight, thank you for being here. If you're the family member of an Exceptional Service Award winner or recipient this year, know the impact that your family member is having every day that they come to work. As we said, one of the criteria is the best every single day, and they come here and impact children's lives, impact our staff's lives. We cannot do this work without them. And so thank you for supporting them in doing the work here in Levine. And with that, I actually have one more thing. Natalie Urich is in the back there. Natalie, she was the teacher of our students or she is a teacher of our students at EFGA, but it's nice to see you back there. So congratulations and thank you, Natalie. And we'll turn it back over to you, President Berrigan.
Thank you, families, for being here and friends for celebrating with us tonight, whether that was your children or our absolutely incredible staff. I'm just so impressed with everyone and everything tonight, and glad we got to spend a little bit of time together. So feel free to go out and continue celebrating. We will stay here and have a board meeting. You're welcome to stay for that if you'd like, but we'll break right now so you can leave if you'd like. Thank you, guys. And we're just as excited for your presentation, we promise.
Right? To showcase great stuff. Are you
Yeah,
guys
ready?
ready?
Yep, you go
Oh,
right
okay.
ahead.
All right. Okay. So good evening, President Berrigan, Dr. Sprout, board members, guests. Tonight I will be sharing with you the process for our social studies curriculum adoption. So the important work is really aligned with our commitment to the academic achievement of our students by providing the highest quality of instruction and while also ensuring that our stakeholders have a voice in this process. So the beginning of the endeavor is communicating to all stakeholders the intent to adopt a new curriculum program for a particular content area. This is really a valuable part of ensuring that all voices are heard and considered. So this information is shared out with our school leaders who will then share the information with our staff. In this process, the majority of teacher participants are often content teachers that really have a vested interest in what materials they will be using in their classrooms to deliver that high level of instruction. And we also call these people our content experts. So the vacancy announcement for our community participation is also posted on our district and schools websites. The call for representation is established by the first set meeting, and then a working committee is created. So it's vital that we consistently communicate throughout the process with our school leadership teams and the members of the committee. And with this in mind, I always create a website that I love managing and sharing with the committee and school leaders to ensure that the information is easily accessible to our stakeholders. So this website really houses important information in making a sound decision that would best support all of our stakeholders. So on this website, there's always going to be the standards, established rating criteria, and the publisher's resources. And this is just an example of that interface. So throughout the next few months, there's a real incredible opportunity for us to embed professional development, which will include establishing our shared purpose, reviewing the content standards that support a clear understanding of what to consider when we are rating criteria, when we are creating that rating criteria. So with that being said, this aligned professional development, again, is embedded throughout. It's intended to refresh and review our perspectives on teaching and learning, on the teaching and learning process for that specific content. So this is often achieved by having collaborative discussions. And in this case, this is just an example of what that beginning work looks like. It's noted as a partner task. And so when we are presenting professional development as leaders, it is often very important that we're demonstrating those instructional routines that we would want teachers to also embed into their practice. And this is just an example of that. So moving forward, one of the very first orders of business begins with collaborating and agreeing on criteria that's aligned to our Arizona history and social science standards. This is really to ensure that we are adopting an aligned program for our students, as well as providing a vetted program for our teachers. This important work essentially supports a credible framework for rating the programs and establishing a strong recommendation for adoption. So prior to actually seeking out other programs, it's really important that we first take a look at the curriculum that we're currently using in our classrooms. And in this case, it was Discovery Education Social Studies textbook. So we did spend some time taking a look at what we already had to determine if there was a need to move forward with a different program. And in this case, our committee did feel like there was an opportunity for us to kind of look at something different. So then the invite to the next step is the invite to present from various publishers. It's scheduled. These are timed. They're intended to provide our team with a logistical overview of how the program is generally set up. So after the presentations, it's really our work to really engage in the format for teaching and learning. So the next few meetings, we will just spend reviewing and analyzing each of the programs. So one real key piece is that although the publishers will come in and they'll show us the logistical way in which you can navigate the program, it's really our work to really look at how does the teaching and learning how does it really unfold using these programs? And that's really, really the heart of this work.
So as the committee continues to really vet the optional programs, we analyze the programs from different perspectives, which include both the teacher and student points of view, as well as focusing on how the resources might look in action. The programs are shared out with all of our stakeholders again, and using our website, and discussions are also facilitated through our committee members. So one of the things that we really ask our teachers to do is think about using the program, trying out a lesson. How did it go? What were the pros? What were the cons? How did it feel to your kids? What essentially are you taking away from that lesson? So as we continue to work through this process, a posting of the intent to adopt a new curriculum appears on our websites, both on our district and school pages. A flyer with direct links using QR codes is created to access the program logins as noted for stakeholder viewing. And this is just one way we continue to encourage that feedback for our committee to consider. So I was really proud of the fact that I was able to do QR codes. That was my newest learning this year. So that's what it looks like. Very excited about that. So as the work is ongoing and as the committee is tasked with reviewing each of the programs, it's done both individually and then collaboratively. This work includes discussing again those pros and cons while also referencing our established criteria as rationale for their perspectives. So the reviewing of all 4 programs is really a qualitative task. And so the committee provides written review for each of the programs done individually. Then we come back together, we discuss our findings, and then we work to narrow our top 2 programs. The committee's final step is the final evaluation, which is done in a Likert scale. This evaluation is based on the criteria that we established early on, and the committee's information is collected and shared as the final recommendation to adopt. So we do two ways in which we really do an analysis of the program. We start off with a qualitative piece, and then we move into that quantitative Likert scale. So in this case, TCI, which is Teacher Curriculum Institute Social Studies program, really stood out to our committee as the better aligned product to teach the Arizona history and social science standards in our 6th through 8th grade social studies classrooms. So, and as noted, the final evaluation is presented in this slide. So using, again, that Likert scaled survey, this information is generated from the committee's final ratings, and based on the outcome, TCI's overall scores for criteria 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8 certainly push this program to the top. So when taking a closer look, the criteria here really outlines the teaching and learning of everything. So this is really what I'm probably most passionate about, is really looking at the history and social science standards and what is it really calling our kids to really do in terms of learning. So criteria 1 is really looking at our history and social science in terms of a broad range of understanding. It's about thinking analytically, reading widely and critically, communicating cogently and in a compelling manner. So really thinking about not really just going back and the memorization of facts, but really synthesizing that information. The idea for criteria 3 is that flexibility of sequencing. And so this is really to coordinate social studies with ELA. We know that the history and social science standards are very, very much aligned to the ELA standards. So reading and writing are constantly being embedded within the content. And so this is just an opportunity to make sure that we're making connections for our kids. The primary sources, engaging students in authentic scenarios to reflect the cultural understanding, awareness, citizenship, historical awareness, and the perspective using both the digital media pieces and the interactives, which are updated and relevant. And then the digital platform. In this particular criteria, we really wanted to make sure that the program that we were using was user-friendly to our teachers, and just really making sure that we were taking that load off of them so that they had something that was more readily available to their kids in terms of that planning piece. So thinking more about the delivery instead of thinking about what is this lesson going to look like. It's more about how am I going to deliver this particular lesson. So the work of the committee was really outstanding. I'm proud of their diligence and their commitment. As you can see, these are just a few of the committee's qualitative statements that represent their recommendation for this program. The instructional words that really stand out to me are thinking critically, inquiry, compelling questions, and then the idea of propelling readers of all levels. This all demonstrates the committee's incredible purpose to analyze the intent from multiple perspectives and to engage all of our students in reading and writing in terms of social studies. So the final piece is really to make sure that we are following policy IJJ, which indicates that we have to display our programs for 60 days prior to the meeting at which the final recommendation will be provided to the school board for consideration as an adopted textbook. So we really did do that. And so again, tonight we are asking the board to adopt TCI as our 6th through 8th grade social studies curriculum. So with that being said, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer this for you.
Thank you for the thoughtful presentation and putting that all together. I know that the committee work can be time consuming, but it is a critically important process to have all of the necessary pieces for input. So thank you for all of the work on that. Any questions?
Just to comment that I appreciate all of that, and I was able to look over the curriculum, and like I emailed you, I agree with those descriptive words there of it seems engaging and really authentic activities and thinking about it, the primary documents, all of that. It just looked like a really enjoyable curriculum, and being able to bring in ELA, bring in the other disciplines just looks like it's going to be a really good curriculum. So thanks for all that work.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. I agree with you too. I think the opportunities to embed content as much as we can and do that integration to ensure that kids are writing every day was probably one of the things that I love the most, is that kids are going to be writing and doing a deep analysis at the end of every single lesson. So I was very excited about it. So
Very good.
all right.
Any final questions or comments? All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, my dear. Okay. Do you want to know what Dr. Sprout just said to me? Come on up, sir.
I took a lot of heat for the Minion one when I showed it to my staff, so.
I love it.
Good evening, President Berrigan, governing board members, Dr. Sprout, staff, and guests. I have the privilege and honor to come up tonight and present on support services and what we do and how we do it. And I'm very proud of our staff. And as you can see with the two exceptional winners that we received, that's really awesome. So first of all, we want to talk about who are we? We have a wide variety of what we do in support services. So we're maintenance, grounds, custodial, construction. And then I put duties other side because we go anywhere from moving curriculum to chasing dogs out, snakes, maybe unwanted person early in the morning. That's kind of what we do. So so we kind of have, there's the duties other side is really, I need to get with Mr. Thomas on that. So I'm the executive director, and I'm proud to be the executive director of Levine School District. We have an administration assistant. We have a maintenance supervisor that the governing board voted on last summer to adopt, which I do truly appreciate that. It allows me to do the construction that we need to do. We have 4 certified maintenance staff, and what that is it's actually, these guys are trades. They're certified in the trade they actually work in. So we have certified locksmith, AC, and a low voltage tech. So it gives us a lot of talent in the room. We have 2 non-certified staff members. One we're actually going to be interviewing next week. We have an open position there. We have 1 district plant manager, which is Miss Susie. Have you ever met Miss Susie? She is an amazing person. She's also our mail carrier as well. And then there's 18 school sites. Those are not underneath our umbrella, but they are vital to what we do in building maintenance and support services. So I want to honor those guys tonight, guys and gals tonight. We're work order driven. When I first got here almost 9 years ago, and that seems like it was yesterday, but it's literally 9 years this summer. And I worked for Miss Berrigan back in those days over at Avondale. So when I got here, we weren't really doing a good work order system. We were doing a lot of phone calls. We couldn't track anything. And everybody knows about me. I'm data driven when it comes to facilities. I want to make sure what we're doing when it comes to work orders. So we've completed as a support services over 1,000 work orders as of July 1st. So we're actually changing how we're doing work orders. We're actually we're diving more deeper into that data, so that way we can actually try to dive into that more about how we report, because I think the state is going to ask us to do that down the road, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. I want to kind of highlight our staff a little bit. 95% of work orders or work is done in-house, and we actually could do 100%, but we actually rely on the state for capital funding for our equipment. So we farm all of that work out, but pretty much everything is done in-house. And I want to kind of highlight a couple of the pictures here. So one on the left-hand side is actually Vista del Sur, and I want to say that was September. Where's Miss EPAC at? September, October, somewhere in there. It's very hot. But I also want to highlight that the gentleman on the left-hand side is one of our HVAC guys. And we call them prima donnas in the trades, okay? So normally HVAC guys do not get in the mud, okay? The second picture there, that's actually CL Point a few years back. That was first day of school. And it's 115 plus outside. So my job at that point was to be the competent person on the job and make sure that the guys got out of the hole when they started getting dehydrated. Now, the ingenuity of our guys is the picture to your right is actually, it's the same hole, just full of water. Now, in the background, you see there's a pump station in the back, and you see pipes back there. Those pipes have to be glued for 24 hours before we can ever put any kind of pressure on them. So we have to make sure the school stays. This is the second day of school now. So we actually engineered, the guys engineered a pump system to actually run out into the field, so that way there was no loss of school time when we did this. Okay, so we worked mornings and nights to get this back up and running without any hesitating education. The second part I want to see is it's about teamwork, about all of our guys that actually will pitch in. So on your left-hand side is Elmo Valdez. He's one of our HVAC techs who actually was one of the exceptional winners last year. And the reason why he is that winner is what you see right there is actually a coil system, and that's the first week of school at Cheatham. The industry standard is we don't fix coils, but we know right now, because the supply chain is broken, we're about 26 to 36 weeks out on HVAC systems. So he took that out and found the leak and fixed it and put it back in for the first week of school. Now that is under a BRG grant, and we are hoping to get that replaced here pretty soon. The second one is we have a fabrication shop in our building where we pretty much fab all of our metal, all of our sign work, anything that we want to do, and we're going to talk about pandemic here in just a little bit, but we fabricate everything in our shop. If you want it built, we can build it. So if you've ever been out to the Trailside Point Black Box Theater, the screen behind that, we fabricated that in our shop, and it took us a little bit because we had to go real slow down Dobbins because it was like 30 feet long, Daniel, something like that. It is huge. So we fabricated that in our shop. The last picture, that's actually our locksmith in a hole that he's digging. The one gentleman on the right is our electrician. So you can see that there's a teamwork in my staff to where it doesn't make a difference what it is, they still get it done. So we had the pandemic, and unfortunately we did, but it made my crew arise to the occasion. So it was asked of us to look at barriers, and I know most districts put barriers around the front offices and their desks. We did not outsource any of that. We did get a few of them on your right-hand side, and I couldn't find nobody, including myself, had any pictures of our individual desks, but we did over 2,000 desks in our district and went out and assembled them and put them on. We actually did all the front office spaces for that sneeze guard right there. So, and you as a governing board look at capital plans and capital expenditures and equipment. For us to do our job, we have to have the right equipment. And when I got here with the help of Mr. Kissel, we started rotating fleets. We were running half-ton short bed pickup trucks with just throwing tools in the back. Okay, we've gone away from that and developed a nice spec on a vehicle. So I think we're highlighting Elmo tonight because that's actually Elmo's truck right there. That's our HVAC truck. So literally the only thing he doesn't have on the truck is a unit. He can fix everything from that truck, from Freon, and he's got every type of Freon on that truck. On the other pictures of one of our newest piece of equipment, which is a knuckle boom, and I'll show you a picture here. It's actually one of Mr. Haggerty's favorite pictures in my presentation, but that's getting trained on. The other thing we actually do too is we actually have our certified staff, actually all of our staff, train plant managers. So we bring them in. This is actually from training from last week. This is Edward Gonzalez, who actually is our low voltage tech, who is training our plant managers on how to clean fire smoke detectors and what you should do if you have a trouble. So we're actually teaching the plant managers at the site. So all my staff actually has to teach and do a 10-minute presentation on their particular trade to make those guys even better. So this is actually, that's up there. We have a lot of two-story buildings. That's why it was the need for that piece of equipment, because we were, my philosophy is if I got to rent it a lot, I might as well buy it because eventually I'm going to pay for it anyways, right? Or overpay for it. If anybody wants to ride, well, I think Daniel can accommodate you if you guys want. This is where I'm trying to lure Butch Neal out of IT over to my department, but he doesn't want to come. So we have a lot of facility technologies, more than we ever had before with our EMS system, which is our AC controls. Our fire systems, we're putting in card readers right now, our new security system, light management controls. We actually are computer controlled on our water sprinkling system. So that was a buyback about 1.5 years. So that way we have smart water out there when it comes to controls. Now, every district is mandated to develop a preventive maintenance plan, and we do have one. I have to submit that report by September 1st to the SFOB, and then we develop our plan and implement our plan. So if anybody wants to have light reading tonight, you can go to ARS 41-1091 for that. This is actually our plan. We do over 10,000 tasks completed a year on our preventive maintenance plan. There's 11,899 tasks, and we complete 85%. So, you know, me being me, I'd like, why can't we get to 100%? But the way the report reads, and it's kind of a state thing, is there certain things we cannot do. We have skilled craftsmen in our ranks, but we don't have journeyman linemen to get into transformers or switch gears, stuff like that. So that's why the number is kind of low, and some of it doesn't apply to us, but it's actually on the task sheet when we have to look at that. And by the way, that actually is signed by the president of the board, which is Jill Berrigan, Dr. Sprout, and myself, that actually we have to submit. So if you ever want to become president, your name's going to be on the state letter. Grounds department, we have one lead groundskeeper, one certified groundskeeper, kind of the same thing. They're certified in a trade, 5 groundskeepers, and we're 2 vacant. This is where we're actually struggling at a little bit. We're having a hard time getting staff here. But as I show you, they're still doing amazing work. So this is actually Levine Elementary School. It's one of my most favorite pictures to look at. It really highlights our staff when it comes to grounds. This is my 4th district, and thankfully, you all gave me a contract last month, my last. I thought you can water cut and repeat, right? It doesn't work that way, okay? There's a lot that goes into our grounds, and there's a lot of calculations, fertilizing, aeration, all the stuff that these guys do, and they are amazing. We actually have 3 certified golf course staff members on staff. I don't know if y'all know that or not. 2 of them are actually former superintendent, and one's actually assistant superintendent that wanted to come work at Levine. So that is amazing. I don't think any other district has that. And I show this picture statewide, and people come to me and say, that must cost you a lot of money, but it really doesn't if you do it right. It's about working smart, not harder. This is actually Trailside Point. This is kind of what you see when this is what we expect, and I think that's what the schools should expect, and that's what the kids should expect that come to our school district. Just kind of highlight a little bit here. We actually cut our high density areas at 1 inch and everything else at 1.5 inches. So if you go back to the other picture, it looks like a fairway down there because you have a fairway and then everything is at 1.5 inches and an inch. So it looks like a golf course, i.e. we have 3 golf courses. Now, just keep in mind now, those particular staff members understand that a golf course, if you don't have grasses like this, you're not going to play it. And they bring that same mentality here to our school district. So with the same thing, we actually look at what equipment we buy. The piece of equipment to the left is actually a 9-foot wingspan mower, and it actually allows us to mow twice a week. So that way we usually only mowing once a week. Now we can actually cut that grass even quicker. On the right-hand side, Mr. Kissel actually pointed this out in his presentation when he did the transportation. We actually started getting in the right equipment. It's the same thing. We were running half-ton trucks for grounds. That's just not the way we do it. That is a dump truck. Actually, when we cut the clippings, when it gets full, it goes right to the dump. It never comes back here. We don't handle it twice. The box trailer in the back actually has every piece of equipment that a grounds member or team member needs to have, so that way they don't have to offload and unload every time. When I first got here, they were spending about an hour to load their vehicles and an hour to offload their vehicles. So per team member, per team, which we have 2 teams, we save 960 man hours a year by doing this. Now, my previous life, before I got into school business, I actually was a superintendent in charge of bid control. And where you will make and break of profit and losses is in your man hours. So we're saving that many man hours, then we're actually we're ahead of the game. The other thing, to get to where we're at, we actually have to know every ounce of vegetation, how much grass we mow, how many bushes we have, how much trees we have, and how much acreage of one team member is going to make. I will say, when we were programming Estrella Foothills, Donnie and I were sitting, which is our lead groundsman, was sitting in a meeting with Dr. Johnson and engineers, and we showed this chart, and we showed our weather track, and the guy goes, "Man, you guys are really smart." And I said, "We're just not a bunch of pretty faces down at this end." And Dr. Johnson, not looking up, goes, "Nobody accused you of that, Robert." So I just want to say that there's a lot of intelligence that goes into what we do in the grounds department. I also be remiss if I didn't talk about our cleaning company. It's under our control, but we outsource that, and we actually partner up with ABM, I'm sorry. And in all reality, is talking with the principals. The principals actually and the staff at the site make our ABM staff like their own, and ABM staff makes the schools like their own. We have about, and there's a few schools we're still struggling with, because they're as well struggling with having staff. You know, they have staff turnover, but 80% of their staff was original staff from 5 years ago, which is a couple schools we are struggling with. And I will say, just talking with a couple of principals, we've had, when they work late, we've had ABM employees walk them out to their cars, which is impressive, and I do appreciate what they do and bring to our district. Construction, this is my passion. This is what I like to do. This is why actually I'm thankful that Daniel's on my staff, so he can take care of the day-to-day stuff. These were kind of unique builds. On the left-hand side is the preschool at Vista. That's right at the front door. It's always a hard build when you're right at the front door. The black box theater, actually, when we actually, that's at Trailside. When we did that, I had the contractor call me and said, "You know, there's an airplane hangar door in your building?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, it's cool, huh?" On the right-hand side is EFGA, which is a lot of challenge, and it kind of brings out, the world and the collaboration on that. And Kevin actually put us in for the award for international. We won that award because of that building, so that's kind of awesome. And then at the bottom is actually our early childhood center at Desert Meadows. Again, it's right at the front door, and we have to do a lot of safety control and still maintain the active campus. The best thing you ever say to my department is, "When did you guys get that done?" And then that's kind of where we're at. I work with an amazing bunch of ladies and gentlemen that I'm privileged to be able to work with. It's the best crew I've ever worked with and been allowed to lead. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Okay, I have so much to say. Robert, you taught me so much when I was new in my position in Avondale. And it's very difficult in school business to find a director of facilities and maintenance with construction added onto that who has all of that knowledge but is able to communicate well. So oftentimes you get folks in the trade and they speak in this shorthand, and the rest of us are like, "What are you talking about?" And you have an incredible ability to be able to communicate with people who have all kinds of levels of understanding in the field that you are an absolute expert in. A true leader is somebody who recognizes the work of the people who they work with on a daily basis. I couldn't be more proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's what I have to say. Any questions or any other comments?
I would say that watching that made me, and listening to your presentation made me think about Dr. Sprout's comment earlier about everybody here in the district being an educator, and how nothing that the teachers or principals or anybody is trying to do can be done without the guys digging the holes and figuring out how to get the water away from the building and get the AC working in the summer. And our facilities are just so nice. I mean, you can go to Trailside and you walk off school grounds and you know exactly when you walk
Mhm.
off of school grounds because, you know, the level of our maintenance in our grounds is just exceptional, and it's not easy to do in a desert. So kudos to you and your whole group for being able to get all of that done.
Thank you.
I'll just have to say, it is nice to see, though, just the willingness that even though it might not be your expertise, you're still willing to just step in and get it done.
Yeah.
So that's really great.
I want to say a little bit more in terms of what Linda was saying. It made me think of what another thought I had. I would stack our buildings, our facilities, our grounds up against any district, any city, any town in this state. And we deserve that here in Levine, and we appreciate you recognizing that we deserve that our kids deserve that.
Thank you. And let you guys know, Donnie is presenting on a state level, and this year Daniel's presenting on a state level. So, and just if you know anything about Donnie, Donnie's an amazing person. And Jill knows we go to a spring conference and there's like 300 people, and Donnie's just literally, I think I'm gonna have to get the red box out and shock him, right? And he's like nervous. And so I get him off, he gets up there and I'm co-presenting with him, and I couldn't get him off the stage.
Nice.
And then I get people going, is Donnie here? Is Donnie here? I'm like, no, it's not his rotation to come. So we are presenting on a statewide stage from our department to other stakeholders or other districts. So
Very good.
Thank you very
Donnie
much.
should always be on the rotation.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Fantastic. Okay, we have a consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Sprout?
She became an employee at our last meeting, but wasn't able to be here, but Dawn Robinson is our new student services coordinator. So Dawn, welcome. Forward to starting on July 1st.
Fantastic. Welcome. Okay, next we have our social studies curriculum adoption that we heard about just a few moments ago for 6th through 8th grade. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Hold on, still scrolling. Okay, next we have our policy adoption. This is, we have the exhibits and the regulations as well with this policy. We can do this as a first reading and also waive the second reading if we want, or we can do a first reading and have a second reading at the next board meeting. I'm happy to take a motion either way.
Motion to waive the second reading and adopt the proposed policy.
Second.
That's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. The correction of the fiscal year 24 certified non-teacher salary schedule and contracts. We have all received communication related to this. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And then the trust funding for 23-24. This is our insurance trust. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we have comments from the board this evening, and I would like to start with Dr. Ryan Centers.
Yeah, thank you. This comes at, I'm super happy and encouraged by tonight. Dr. Sprout and the board know, tonight is my last night as a board member. I have to resign as part of this board. It's been a privilege to serve on this board and be a part of the district where my kids have grown up. And even though I was planning on fulfilling this term that I just got elected for 3 months ago, God had other plans. As you may know, my wife and I are foster parents. We have a foster care agency. And in our agency, there's 5 siblings ages 1 to 14 that have been in one of our group homes for the last 2 years. And they have no family and no real other option. So we thought our family was full and done. But over Christmas, we kept praying, and they came to the snow, and we said no. God said yes. So we're adopting them. And so it's a big change for our family. We're super excited and nervous. I have a 1-year-old again. I am not ready for that. I was in the sweet spot of parenting, but back at it. And so we needed a much bigger house, a place to, have a bunch of kids. So we're moving out of the district. My businesses are still here. My life is still here, but we won't live here. So, I've learned one thing in my life is that you have to run towards the vision God has for you, and that's what we have to do. So I'll continue to be a cheerleader for this district, continue to be an advocate for our district and our families. Grateful to so many teachers that have taught my kids, have encouraged them. Our children's future are better because of you guys. Dr. Sprout, your team, you lead with integrity, with vision, with compassion. My fellow board members, you guys are rock stars, and it's a privilege to work with you guys. You have diligence in your decision making, and my hope and prayer is that the next appointed person will continue the good work ahead of us. And just my encouragement for us is just to continue the good work and continue to push forward to ensuring our campuses are safe, our SROs are in place, we have behavioral supports, and we ensure that our kids have the resources we need. So I'm your biggest fan, and it's a privilege and honor. So thank you guys for
Before I go to other board members' comments, if I can just say to you, we have appreciated you being a member of this board for your time. You came to us after a very difficult loss on this board and filled it in a way that was responsible. And we just appreciate you being thoughtful and considerate of this incredible district in everything that you do, both on the board and in the community. We continue to support you as you continue to support us. And if God told me that I needed to adopt 5 children, I'm not sure I would listen. So you and your wife have probably a much bigger heart than I do. And that's just absolutely incredible. So I'll be praying for you guys. Linda, go ahead.
Well, first, thank you to Ryan and all of your efforts for the district. And you've been very dedicated and very intentional about looking out for the best in our schools and helping as much as you can, and appreciate all of that effort. And also wanted to just comment on district in general. I'm trying to go around and visit our campuses, and I've gotten to go to 5 so far this week, and we'll hit the rest tomorrow. But just been so impressed by what I see in the classrooms and the schools, and just incredible instruction going on, and a lot of caring between every adult on campus and each child that we see. And so just so encouraged and excited about everything that's going on, and so much good at every level in our buildings, and so appreciate that.
Thank you. Dr. Watkins?
Ryan, I'm gonna miss you.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys know, outside of this, me and Ryan do a lot of the same things. We coach for our church. We're very active in our church. He likes kids a whole lot more than me. I appreciate it.
Hit my team, beat him in the.
I don't think you wanted to go there.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I was fortunate enough to go to all the schools last month. Had a great visit with the principals. A highlight was I got to speak to some 8th graders about their decision making and moving forward, leaving our district. Got some really good positive feedback on that. Also talked about some of the problem areas that we're dealing with. Me and Dr. Sprout are working on getting some mental health for the district. some pro bono if possible. So it's a great organization that opened up across the hall from me at Simon Medical Center that's offering some services to us that I think would be extremely beneficial. Some of your principles we talked about, career day, make sure we follow up on that, make sure we get that going well. But I was very impressed, very just enamored with what you guys are doing out there. Just keep up the good work. You guys have our support. If you guys need anything, reach out to us. I'm more than happy to listen to whatever you're dealing with out there.
Thank you. Michelle?
And I guess I would have to agree with what everybody has said here, but Ryan, we just appreciate your support, and it's not goodbye, it's see you around, because you are still very much a part and involved in this community. So we appreciate that. And then just spring break is right around the corner. So enjoy your spring break, rest up for that last final push at the end of the year race of completing this school year, which is crazy to think. So enjoy your time off and come back and finish it up.
All right, everybody, stay warm out there. It's awful right now. It's awful. Our next meeting is on April 13th, right here. We need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.